welcome to the next episode of the Self and Development with Tactics, podcast. And today, as you can see in the background, we will continue with the Mindset book by, I don't remember actually. It was by Carol S. Dweck, and she seems to have a PhD in psychology, maybe, or I assume it is psychology. But let's actually see. We have stopped, and fortunately enough, I've just seen or just looked at how we have, or where we have stopped. And, the bad thing about it was only 2 chapters, and we would have finished the whole article. But, it's not that of a pity, because we just, go ahead with the summary. So, Chapter 7, Where do mindsets come from? Carol Dweck says that teachers have a strong influence in shaping whether or not we will grow with a fixed or growth mindset. And that's actually true because, the most of the time in your youth or if you're a child, you just spend in school. It's what it is. And, if you have a teacher who is a total asshole and you really do not like him, first of all, just have to see it. First of all, you will hate him, and therefore will hate school maybe as well, which, school in general, I just have to talk about this. Because I often, listen to people I listen to them and they might say like, yeah, school is such a bad place, I hate school, na, da, 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 and, shit like this. But at my point of view, in general, school isn't bad. Yes, it's bad for certain people who really can't just learn in school, can't just, learn or work in these environments with a lot of people, with someone teaching you something, like, someone is superior to you, or, just these things, just these circumstances. But saying that school in general, as it is bad only because, and then most of the people are just then like, yeah, they say like, yeah, school is such a piece of shit, and I don't know, whatever. And just after they went to school, they go home and lie in bed and watch Netflix or some shit like this. These are just all the same people. And if you're someone like this, I don't really want to attack you right now. Don't get me wrong, but school isn't bad. School is a try of the maybe even economy, but not economy. Yeah, but sure, economy. And of the government and the states and all these things of the world, actually, to give us some knowledge and just teach us something, and just that we are not all dumb as shit or fuck, whatever. I think if there wasn't any school, a lot of people wouldn't just be able to read. Well, yeah, I just wanted to say listen, but actually a lot of people do not listen, even if they go to school, or even if they went to school. But let's see. But it's actually true. Besides the fact that you might really hate school and might hate your teacher as well, the problem is that you just use such a lot of time for school and for uni as well. But I think most of the time, or mostly, it is correlated to school, because these are just the years that, at my point of view, really create your habits and or really create your values and or goals. And if you are then on a school with teachers who give you just wrong goals, or just goals that that are for them, the thing is, people just always talk about themselves, and these things, or this teaches us to do what they are saying and do what their values are and do what their goals are. But the actual thing is, and a lot of students might not notice, not knowing is maybe the wrong word, but they might not think about it, that you can have your own goals, and you should have your own goals, and you should not be doing something that only someone is telling you. And if you're that young, you just believe in the words these people say most of the time. They're pretty, there might be people, or there are, of course, people that, just totally give a fuck about what they're talking about. And this is actually a good thing, because then, by these people, you can really see that these ones just care about them. And, the teacher might be saying, yeah, school is great, go to school, which, makes sense because he's a teacher. But yeah, these are his or her values and not yours. And a lot of young people might get that wrong, my point of view. For example, teachers who compliment students for being smart reinforce a fixed mindset, and teachers who reward students for doing well because they worked hard help instill a growth mindset. I think the whole working hard thing is a little bit overdone at my point of view, because the thing is, working hard at my point of view is a good thing. Do not get me wrong by now telling you that just working hard isn't a good thing, but working hard as such is something really great. And I think especially young people aren't really caring about it, or aren't just mentioning it or recognizing it, that this is actually something that is important, or which is something that not they should do, but it is actually important. But you can work hard, and you can work just for 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. And if you do this might be then quite a lot of hours. I can't calculate, I'm sorry. But if you're just really inefficient in this period of time, you're just an idiot. Don't get me wrong, but there is something like hard work, and there is something like efficient or smart work. And I think it should be something in between. You should work hard, of course, and you should not just waste a lot of time doing some shit, or being perfectionism, or just because perfectionism is total bullshit. And it's just really a waste of time at my point of view, or it could really be a waste of time. But yeah, also telling pupils that they are a very fast learner can nudge towards a fixed mindset, as when in other fields they might justify not learning as fast. Might be meant by this, it's AFST, maybe it's just a really shortcut for something and I don't know it. So this is the right point to say, if there's something I'm talking about and that's completely shit, please tell it to me. I'm currently, just have to tell you this, I'm currently really in the mood to get every single criticism that's possibly for me to get. Yeah, because I was going through these summaries, or this summary yesterday from the Mindset book as well. I really just now not really believe, but I see that I have certain character traits, I think it's called, character traits that aren't that good for my maybe success, or for my health even, or just for myself. And or for me, in terms of me working hard, but because of my mindset I won't achieve everything, even though I work hard, which is then just a lot of wasted time. You just hardly waste time at my point of view, because there's always something you can learn, but yeah. But what I initially wanted to say was that I really want to get all the criticism in, because through this summary, I now know that a fixed mindset really is, just wants to save their ego, and they, really do not want to fail, and they do not want to make mistakes, even though, and this is, the fucked up part, because I know that doing mistakes and doing failures or having failures is actually important, because through these things you learn something. But at the end, for me, it's most of the time like, even though I really force myself, I force myself so deeply to get something out of these things, most of the time I just feel personally attacked by these criticisms. And that's why if I talk shit but yeah, if I talk shit, tell me, write it down in the comments or DM me or comment on a post or whatever. And if there's something else you really want to say, then just, DM me and all these things as well. And if you're liking this episode, if you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on a podcast platform, it's, may depend on what platform or, precisely what platform you are. But, just follow me or subscribe me if you really like that episode. But let's see, chapter 8, and this is the last chapter, and afterwards I will find myself another book. The pity is that I have been talking about a book before, and I just before this episode wanted to see what episode this was, but internet wasn't that fast, so it couldn't be loaded, and that's why I just had to start this episode right now, because I do not have that much time. Changing mindsets. After having taken on the whole journey on how kick-ass it is to sport a growth mindset, Cal Dweck finally dedicates the last chapter on how you can go from a fixed to a growth mindset. But unluckily, I found the book a bit lacking here, so I will add my own research on it. And this is also something great from summaries, because even though these are just summaries of books, the authors of the actual articles can provide additional informations about this and how they see it. And the thing is then, I'm talking about this and give you my opinion about it. You have your own opinion, and then you have additionally to that the opinion of the author of the article, and you can probably, or basically, even though not at the time, get also some opinions or criticism or whatever from other people who are watching the videos or that are on my posts or wherever they are. But there are actually a lot of opinions on here, which is, I think, pretty great because you get quite a lot out of it. So the first one is hear your fixed mindset voice. I think that just means that you should recognize that you have a fixed mindset. The second one is recognize you have a choice. This is actually always the truth. A lot of people might understand, and this was also told you by this summary or by this book in general, that people with a fixed mindset always be like, this is how I was born and I can't change it, and this is how it is, and but you have always a choice. You have always the choice between eating a burger and eating something healthy. You have always the choice between, being responsible for yourself or being not responsible for yourself, or just making someone else responsible for you. And which is important, but I'm now lacking the word, you have always the not the opinion, but the choice between you react angry on something that happened or you react calm on something that happened. And this is something that I find really funny, that you can actually always depend or just decide how you react to certain situations, certain scenarios, whatever comes up into your life. You always have and choice. Just had to look at my phone to see if the recording is working and everything is working and so on. The third one is talk back to the fixed voice with a growth one. A mentor I follow repeats, I can do it 3 times in his head every time someone says something disempowering. So talk back to the fixed voice with a growth on, which is, you should do this. Just, first recognize that there is a choice and then really take the choice and, talk against your fixed mindset voice. And the fourth one is choose the growth mindset. I think the last one is pretty important, because if you don't choose to really go that path, just I would say either by visualizing or really being having a strong opinion about it, and to be really sure that this is actually the right thing you want to do, and it is the right thing you want to do, or it is actually the right thing. And this is now the added things from the author. Also, I found useful read and acknowledge brain plasticity. Fixed mindset is plainly unscientific. The second one is fixed mindset is fear of looking bad. Reenact your worst moments while feeling great. Understand you are stronger because of them. This is actually the truth because these really really bad things that happened in your life or that bad moments might have made you to the person you are today. But the thing is, if you just aren't that, how should I say, aren't that happy with yourself today, and you are like, yeah, in the past made me like this, you have now and today the chance and the really possibility to change who you are today to be another person tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day and so on. I just bumped into my microphone. uh, yeah. Change your identity. And this wasn't quite, never mind. Change your identity. A great way is by building the habits of the person you want to be. Which is, I think, actually a good thing to do, even though I'm often talking about you should always be doing what's good for you. But the thing is, if you do not try out a lot of things, you won't really know what's good for you. And so by just, taking habits from now successful people or just, seeing what a lot of successful people have in common in terms of their habits, just, get one of the habits, it sounds like buying some, but just, look for them, adopt them and see if they work for you in the long term, and if they're not working, either change them so that they are working or choose another one. The fourth one is it's all practice. I find it useful to always look at things as practice. Worry not about final results, it's all about practice. And this is actually true, and this is something also important. I just always say this is true and this is important. I'm sorry about this monotonous language usage or something. But the thing is, this is also the same with willpower. And this is actually something I've been reading about today pretty a lot, because you can now find me as well on Quora. It's this platform where a lot of questions appear, and there are actually people that reply to them. So both sides are users. So it just sounded like this is actually the company who is replying. But these are actually all users, and I really tend to be in the self-development section to see what people actually have. So what questions they have, so that I can choose for myself what types of videos I will make and what I will cover in these videos. And something that appears pretty often is motivation. A lot of people seem really to be lacking motivation, and because I was then just looking the whole term motivation up and actually see I was hoping to see some scientific things on actual motivation, but the thing is, I found then a book which was called, I think, Willpower and Nothing Else, by the author I do not really remember, but it is a cover with some yellowish background, and there's a sticker on it if you Google it. And when Google just gives you all these results in this slideshow thing, if you know what I mean. But nevertheless, this book is about the willpower, as the title might tell you. But the thing is, you have only a tank full of willpower. So you have this tank of willpower, and the fucked up part about this is, if you use so much of your tank for something you actually do not like or actually find quite useless, you still do have only this amount left, because you actually do only have this one tank. So if you just choose your willpower for something that's not important for you, you will lose your willpower on things that actually are important for you, or are, let's say, important for you. But the thing is, you can always make this tank bigger. And a lot of people ask, or I asked myself as well, how should you be able to make this one bigger? And the thing is with practice, and this is actually the point why I'm talking about this right now, because I was, reading practice there, and this part of the summary was about practice. And the thing is, um, that I just had to correct the tone or the audio so that I'm not that loud, because if you actually set your it is called gain. If you set your gain too high, and you really do not quite handle your audio, then especially background noises get pretty loud, and you also tend to phase a little bit, which is the sound when I maybe like this, and this might not sound pretty good. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is it's just about practice. But how could you practice self-discipline or having more willpower? The thing is, by just doing things you actually do not like, or which cost you willpower. And this was quite a great example. They said that if you tend to be, a little bit have bad posture, and sit around like a little sluggish bag of potatoes, you should actually be always reminding yourself to sit upward or straight, let's say sit straight, and this will take a small percentage of willpower, yeah, but if you do it all the time, you just create the discipline for you. And this is actually the same with not eating certain things. If you just really like that type of chocolate, and you just try to not eat it for even a month or half a year or maybe 2 weeks, if you're just really into it, and you really create the discipline for you. And the thing is, at my point of view, which actually shows the tank itself, this tank is for everything, which means that if you show discipline in some kind of area of your life, then you actually build up the discipline for other areas in your life. And this is also the reason why I fucking meditate and take cold fucking showers, even though I really hate it. Especially the cold showers. Today I was really into them, I'm not gonna lie, but the rest of the days and the weeks, especially when I haven't slept only like 6 hours a day or a night, then I'm really pissed about them. Really. Just, I don't like them. But the thing is, I know that they're good for my health. I know that they're good for you. But, yeah. So in this mindset summary, I gave you all the main takeaways. But if you are aging for more or aching, and there is a full mindset audiobook version so far on YouTube, check it out here until it's available or unavailable. So there's then a link or just a play button for the mindset audiobook on YouTube. And so for the podcast listeners, if you're into that, you could always be, even though I do not know if you should actually be doing this, but download I always say this YouTube video, to just listen to it. If you're on the bus, if you're on the train, I always really like it, because I really get into this environment of a lot of informations and a lot of input. And with music, I really do not want to say that music is just a fucking waste of time. I really do not want to say it, because this is actually something that can really motivate you and power you up and pump you up and whatever. But podcasts and audiobooks are just a great way if you can't read, like you do not like it, and or do not have really the time to read. And because listen to audiobooks is just something you can do while you're in the bus or wherever you are. So the cons of these books, yes. The cons of this book is no information on getting a growth mindset. The book gives you all the fantastic overview of what a fixed and growth mindset are, and you are itching to become a growth mindset person, but then it doesn't tell us how. Many chiastic mindsets. Mindset is strong on a dichotomy, fixed versus growth, or fixed/growth. Yet I doubt most people are fully on the extremes. What about all the mixes? Carol Dweck does say there are mixes, but I would have liked to read more about it, which is actually true. And this is actually the position I'm in. I do have certain traits from fixed mindsets. I'm, not gonna talk about it as, I'm the best one and I don't know. I'm not the best one. I don't know shit. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not in the growth section as well, because I do have certain traits at my point of view. So just, yeah. Um, yeah, should I read this? The thing is, maybe there's something in it. If you're not in a growth mindset yet, I am cheering for you. You have now the chance of jumping to a whole new level in your personal development. It helped me develop in 3 major ways. Empowered Life. Mindset by Carol Dweck is possibly the most foundational book for an empowered life. It explains how a fixed mindset will constrain our potential, stunt our growth, and condemn us to a life of ego validation and excuse making. I can certainly recall when that was me, and it will show you the way out of it with a growth mindset. Psychological understanding. Mindset by Carol Dweck not only kick-started my own self-development, but also opened a further door in understanding human psychology. Suddenly all the metal games of excuses and blaming used by the man living under the shackles of a fixed mindset made sense. Extraordinary is double, or maybe he meant double. A growth mindset also takes away top performance from the realm of out of this world, or genius, or whatever you have it, and place it within the reach of each of us, each one of us, willing to put in the work, because there is a secret nobody wants you to know. Every single top performer busts its ass, or busts his ass, and they're no better than you, and if you put in the work you will do just as extraordinarily, which is totally true. Um, you know, some people are really talented in being an entrepreneur. I always say, in English it's entrepreneur or something, but I think in French it's actually entrepreneur. But the thing is, some people are talented at this certain thing. You are talented in sports. I'm talented maybe in, I don't know, designing stuff. The other person is talented at playing music and or some, I don't know, painting pictures or some things. And but these are just certain talents people have, and this has a lot to do with how they got raised and what school they were in, how the teachers were, what friends they had. There are so much factors of being or getting successful or becoming successful. But if you put in the hard work, and if you're really dedicated and determined by this certain thing that you really want to achieve it, and it is your passion and it is something you really love to do, then at my point of view there's nothing that could stop you. Expect your own mind, or your own willingness to really, really, really put in the work. Yeah, fuck yeah. We can all do it. We can all do it, basically. The thing is that, most of the people just really do not want to put in the work. The work just has to be done. I do not care if you're just lazy and really want to sit around or lie around watching Netflix after going to school or after going to work. If you aren't passionate about the work you're doing at work or what you're doing for a living right now, then you should actually be working on something besides that to, really monetize then your passion or, what you really love, so that you can just fuck this other job out of your life and only do what you love. Yeah. Exactly the same thing as Gary Vee is saying, but if you aren't, really listening to him, and I really suggest you to listen to his podcast, because it's great and you get a lot of information and motivation out of it. You should really do this. It's Gary Vee, Veee, with 2 E's, not 3. I'm sorry. So, actually, I really do want to read something about wealth. Now, And because we do have, actually a lot of a lot of great some sort of time. I will teach you to be rich. The thing is with wealth books, and this is just something I have to tell you, it is always like, are there people actually wealthy because they, build a business besides making these books, or did they just, write books and because they know that, teaching wealth and, having a better life and, showing some secrets is just a good way to sell their books or just a good book topic. Or so they either got wealthy by having their own company, or they got wealthy by just buying or selling their fucking books on how to get wealthy. Yeah. So, but actually see, and as I know them, there will actually be there is a part in this, or isn't it? Best books. Yeah, there is a section with best books. This is where I got the mindset book from, which is actually on the first place. And I was going through all these summaries and all these books that were mentioned, and I was like, yeah, why don't we start with the first one, with the first place? Because it wouldn't make any sense to I don't know, to work up to the first place, or I don't know. Communication skills are pretty important, and because I see How to Win and Influence People as a book, it's something important. And How to Win and Influence People was a great book, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I will just see if there's something in it, and I want to see if how to win friends and influence people is even on the first place. Let's see. No, it isn't. People skills: how to assert yourself, listen to others, and reveal conflicts, by Robert Bolton, PhD. The second place is difficult conversations, and the third one is how to win friends and influence people. Could anyone compile a reading list, best communication skills, without Dale Carnegie in it? I don't think so either. But actually, let's see what this book is all about. Difficult Conversations has been the very first communication skills book I've read, and every page I turned, I only grew more and more excited, realizing I had a wisdom bomb in my hands. This Difficult Conversations helpfully dissects conversations at the three most important levels: what happened, feeling, and identity. Difficult conversations are difficult because they are heavily emotions and sometimes can reach us to the core of who we are, and so on. So humans feel binary when conversations touch identities, either great or lovable, or terrible and unworthy. On the first one, people skills, but the actual thing is, I wanna read something about. I really wanna read something about wealth now. Can't help myself. Best personal finances books: saving money, making money, in depth on finance books. Got it. Finished. This is just the end. I've seen them. This is it. So education on a specific topic, books to make money, which is 3, but how do I know this? The Millionaire Next Door, The Book of Common Sense Investing, Rich Dad Poor Dad was a great book. You can listen to it for free on Spotify and Spotify and Deezer. If you use Deezer, I use Deezer because it's actually some kind of free, and you can actually listen to every song you really want to. But there's something sometimes a lot of ads, but you can really go through these few ads. The Millionaire Fast Lane. Did you hear that? Always because I'm sitting all the time, which is not good. The thing is, I don't know. The Millionaire Fast Lane. I maybe have read this book on their website as well, but Money Master the Game. I have read about it and I didn't understand shit on SamuelThomasDavis.com website. But Common Sense Investing, the only way to guarantee you fair delivery. Yeah, I will go through this one. Yeah, just for the last 5 minutes I have now. I'm pretty sorry to maybe fuck a little bit of time. I won't cut it out. Because yeah, it's creating some kind of space, at my point of view. And this is actually like a really quick read. Yeah, so this is just fine. It's really all good now. But let's see. And the little book of Common Sense Investing does what it says, lays out great and easy to follow investment principles in a short amount of time, and that's pretty great. Bullet summary: avoid middlemen, skip the advisors. And this is actually why Amazon is so cheap, because it just skips and avoids the middleman. There's just Amazon and the customer, and it's, direct to the customer. I think this is actually a business term, direct customer, or actually B2C some sort of, but direct to the customer. Avoid high-priced funds and pick index funds, ETFs, covering big indexes, and sit back. The author John Bogley is the founder of Vanguard Investment, and he often quotes Benjamin Graham, author of The Intelligent Investor, which seems to be actually a really great book, and was some kind of the, let's say, Bible for Warren Buffett, as I know. If I'm wrong, just correct me. I'm always up for this. But cut the middleman. People who promise to manage your money to make money for you are actually taking money for you. Ask yourself, does that make sense? The author says that often it doesn't, which means you should look for ways to invest with the fewest middlemen possible. And that's true. As I was going through this, I was just thinking about financial advisors. The thing is, at my point of view, financial advisors can be pretty great. I shouldn't really have an opinion about them, because I haven't actually talked to one in my entire life. And because I know that, but I know that Gary Vee really, spent his money on financial advisors. And the thing is, I think if they're good ones, they actually know what they're talking about. And if they have, testimonials and can show you that they did good for, other people, it is not only about, creating your wealth, or just, securing your wealth, but also learning something from them. Yeah. Minimize fees. The author indeed says that the average investor should first of all focus on minimizing fees. Taxes are fees too, and from a US tax perspective, the less transaction a fund does, the more it will maximize taxes payments. Another reason why index funds are better. The thing is, I do not have a fucking clue about index funds and US. Yeah, I know the US tax, but I do not know funds in general. I really have to look them up, because it's actually important. And I think even with not that much amount of money, especially if there are startups that really seem to, or really should go up in the next few years, actually investing some kind of money, just a little bit, might be even a good idea. But as I said, I do not have any clues about the stock market. A little bit, a really tiny bit, but just it's enough to know what stocks are. And yeah. Stocks match businesses. Bogle or whatever the author is called, says that stocks returns in the long run closely match the performance of the business you are buying. So, I have to read it again. And Bogle says that stocks returns, so like the man's check it, stocks returns in the long run closely match the performance of the business you're buying, which means that if you just invest in Apple and you know that Apple will just, turn up, and this is actually the reason why news are that important. You can always see news in, all these demo account trading kind of thing, shit, like, you know what I'm talking about. You can always see news. And news are important because through news you can really see if these businesses are actually doing well and it makes sense. If you buy stocks from them and the business actually does well in this year, why wouldn't the stock go up? And if they're doing shit or the economy is just kind of shit, like, right quite now, then they're cheaper. The short term is different as it can be governed by emotions, but long run stocks do seem to move rationally. Managed fund, the short term gains. The authors concede that some funds are better positioned to provide outsized returns in the short term, in certain niches and in certain market conditions. During the dot-com bubble, for example, many funds managed to beat the market and provide huge returns. But while the overall market survived, I'll see you the next time. See you.